City planning. The efficient design of a city is a big factor in a player's success. Before you ask where to place a building, you should decide what type of building you should build. Houses. In each age, there is a house type which can support a much bigger population than all others. In the Bronze Age, this is a chalet. In Iron Age, it is a cottage. In early Middle Ages, the clapboard house. In High Middle Ages, the townhouse. In Late Middle Ages, the apartment house, etc. Typically, this building always comes very late in the tech tree of each age. You should use this type of houses only. Other houses would deliver more coins, but if you play often enough, coins will not be short. Space is the real problem. And with this type of houses, you reduce the space needed for houses significantly. And I do not skip ages. Indeed, I place the appropriate houses in each age as soon as possible. That requires a lot of supplies, but playing wisely, you will have enough. Production buildings. In the beginning, I built many production buildings. I prefer to use the big production buildings as motivation has a much better effect on these. I especially recommend the farm and the tobacco plantation. In later ages, you will use less age-specific production buildings as you will have many event buildings. These often are more efficient than regular production buildings of the same age. Example given, the large confectionery from the winter event at the progressive area produces 2,123 supplies per hour. The much bigger garage only 1,740. Event buildings help a lot to reduce the space required for production and to always have enough supplies. Some great buildings offer a bonus for the production of supplies. This can reduce the number of production buildings significantly and reduce the space needed. On the other side, spending forge points for such a building will reduce the speed for researchers and great buildings with fighting bonus. So such great buildings are not my first choice. Goods buildings. Of course, I always build 2 goods buildings in each age. For my own development and guild support, this is usually enough, especially when producing 3 times a day, 2 times 8 hours and once 4 hours. Even if you race through the ages, goods will not have a shortage until the industrial age. In the later ages, good will be a challenge sometimes. Players having research break for developing their great buildings will have less problems with always having enough goods. Great buildings to support goods production are not really required until modern era. In lower ages, such great buildings are only recommended for tradespeople. You can sell old goods buildings if you have enough goods in your inventory. Some 300 of each type are sufficient. Only for GVG you never can have enough goods. In higher ages, you should consider that producing current goods will require goods of a previous age. Cultural buildings and decorations. from previous videos, you all know that I dislike decorations. A polish on a cultural building is so much more efficient but nearly wasted on a decoration. In your early development, most will make exceptions, but then there is a rule. A cultural building with less than 100 happiness per field is a waste of space. Generally prefer huge buildings instead of tiny. This again has to do with the polishing effect. Of course, I appreciate happiness from great buildings like my Alcatraz. If someone would build a great building for happiness only, it should provide much more than 100 happiness per field to compensate all these forge points invested in it. Notre Dame would reach that level after investing 1,470 forge points. And you cannot increase this by polishes. Therefore, I never would build Notre Dame, as the bonus, supplies and happiness, are not compensating these many forge points. Military buildings. For the fights in the provinces, one military building per type is enough, if expanded to 4 units each. Those who participate in guild expeditions will build a second one of some types. This reduces the breaks between fights significantly. Once you know what you want to build, then you should start to think about how to arrange these. Huge buildings should always be placed at the side of your city. This reduces the length of your streets. Buildings preferably should be connected with their shorter side to a street. Similar buildings can be stacked very efficiently. Towns in the form of a square usually have less streets and less wasted space than long cities. Those who want to try different designs for their town might want to use an app for it. FoEmanager.com. I highly recommend not to use the game's password when registering there. This avoids the developer of this app being blamed in case something might happen to your account. The app can only read from the game, so you can easily try out everything. Also, the app enables you to have a completely different view on your city. This way, you recognize space tiles much easier. You also can create additional space to temporarily move buildings there while trying new designs. Have fun trying this out.